Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening. And thank you for joining us today at JioTesseract GeoGlass Developers Connect session. I, Priyanka Yadav, I'm the Senior Manager Marketing at JioTesseract, and I welcome you all to our another interesting and insightful session around and about XR, and but this time with a slightly different topic. At GeoTesseract, we are on a mission to inspire, educate, and actively engage with the developers who will bring groundbreaking products and services to the Indian market and revolutionize the human experiences. About today's topic, I would like to say there's a famous quote by Jeff Bezos which says, Your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. And it is as important for any working professional as it is for a brand as being for a developer, and there's no exception for a developer. So hence we decided to bring about a dedicated session which will help you understand the importance of personal branding and monetization, which is going to be exclusive to the developer community. And this is we are doing with in association with Dinesh Punni from Immersive Insiders. And welcome, Dinesh. Thank you for joining us and doing this session with us today. Uh, Let me take a quick opportunity to introduce Dinesh. Dinesh has been eating, drinking, and breathing immersive technologies for more than 5 years by now. And today he uses his experience to pave the way for upcoming talents by teaching them how to create immersive experiences on his YouTube channel and on his online education platform called Immersive Insiders. And he has impacted more than 10,000 people who have benefited from his XR learning courses. And he aims to make Immersive Insiders the global standard for the AR VR education. And we have joined hands with Dinesh for helping, as our all goals are similar, and we want to create learning engaging and exciting for the XR developers. And when Dinesh is not creating any content, he loves to read, compete on video games, and take a walk in the virtual reality. So before we get started, there are few ground rules that I want to hygiene things that I would like to highlight. Audience, we have just enabled the camera and screen sharing and mic options only to the presenters and the organizers. You can use the chat section for dropping your questions, and please feel free to write down as many questions as you can. We will be taking all those questions towards the end of the session. There's going to be a dedicated 15-minute session. If you have your question covered and if it's not properly well understood, please raise your hand. We can probably give you an opportunity to come and speak to Dinesh here. And we would be happy if you would like to share your feedback and tag us as GeoTesseract or GeoGlass Developers, Dinesh Punni, or his own channel, Immersive Insiders, on social media by sharing your experience. So I would suggest, without any further ado, Dinesh, I invite you. I hand you over this whole session. So let's dive in right in.
All right, let me take care of the screen real quick. There we go. Just a quick question. Can you guys see the screen and hear me clearly? Awesome. Cool. Yeah, then... Oh, 1 second. I can't hear you right now, Priyanka. But you guys can hear me? Okay, awesome. So let me just put this one away.
You're on.
Whoops. There we go. All right, cool. Thanks for the introduction. Today's topic is going to be about the importance, like I said already, the importance of personal branding and monetization for XR developers. And one question that I really have already for you guys is, how many of you do have a LinkedIn account? I think you can use the hand function. I don't know if it works or not in the Teams right now, but maybe you can also think about it. Awesome. Then we also have some engagement already. So who of you has an online presence or a LinkedIn profile that you basically use to showcase what you are building and working on? And any Instagram account where you make photos of your food, that doesn't count, but really trying to work on your branding experience. Let me see if I can actually see something. Yeah, there are some hands. Nice. Okay, so it is quite working. And so what I want to talk about is that the traditional way of branding and CV is going to die soon. So in the future, people will not, and companies and your employees and partners, they will not look like at what you have done in form of a written CV, because things are going to change to your brand. Things will get online. And this is very important. And this is like the main kind of message that I want to get across, that you should really focus on how you want others to perceive you. So a quick word about myself, like Priyanka said something already, but I'm in the AR, VR field for a couple of years now. I have a lot of these experiences in personal branding since I'm doing like YouTube videos for 3 years now. And now I'm very active on LinkedIn for about 1 year. And I have my own online platform, Immersive Insiders, where I teach developers how they can learn everything they need to know, like programming, design for AR and VR. So the thing about personal branding is right in this overview. So what are we going to talk about in this presentation? I want to keep it short, but not like super complicated. It has to be simple. You will hopefully understand everything. And it should be very actionable. So you should, after this presentation, you should know exactly what you can do and what you want to do, basically. In the beginning, right now, I will talk about what is personal branding and why is it important to you. So why should you even care about this? Then I will give you some tips about, so what can you do to leverage your brand and how can you generate money also in the long term by building your portfolio, your online presence. And at the end of the presentation, I want to get some very concrete steps, and we actually will do some exercises at the end of the session where we will work together to help you to get started a little bit like a small boost. So you don't have to start from all the way at zero. You're a little bit faster. And then at the end, we will have like open questions, so you can ask questions. I will try to answer them at my best, and then we can see how it basically goes. So what is your personal brand? People don't know how smart and how hardworking you are. So you as a developer, and this is very, very important, you as a developer, you are in a position of power, and you really must understand this. So if you are competent, so if you don't know anything and you pretend to be a programmer, it doesn't really count. But if you are a competent programmer, you are extremely valuable in the market. So that basically means you are like a rare diamond. But the problem is that pretty much all people, they don't know that you have like this genius, that you have like put all of this work in, that you know how to do all of these things. If you don't have a personal brand, nobody knows how valuable you are or how valuable you can be. So your personal brand is what people think when they think of you. And just like Priyanka said already, like when there's nobody in the room, which means that building your brand helps you to show your strengths and how you want people to perceive you. What does it mean? Whether you like it or not, people will always judge you based on your online perception. Right now, I would say it's not like too much. Maybe it is a little bit, but like over the years, your first impression basically it will move online. People will just start to Google your name and do things like these. And if you have a good brand, that means there are a lot of opportunities, but I will come to this later on when I give you some really, really amazing examples. So for example, like what do you think how I came here to this presentation right now? Mostly through LinkedIn, because yeah, Geo found my content and I hope they liked it, and we connected, and now I'm presenting here. So I can show what I do, my brand, all of that stuff in this session as well. Small exercise. So I'd already talked about that people will look up online for who you are. And we can just test it really, like what is our current state right now with the personal brand? And I invite all of you, like you can just do it privately on your own laptop, to just Google your name and then see what comes up. Maybe it's something interesting, maybe it's exactly what you want. But let me just do it live right now. So I will go and open a new tab over here. I will go to Google, and then I just type in my name. And you can do the same right now if you want to. And that will give you like a quick overview of your personal brand, basically. which is like one example. So ideally, you want something from your side over here. Maybe you have a website. Maybe you have a LinkedIn channel. Maybe you share something that you do. Or even like for developers, very important, your GitHub profile should be here as well. Things like these, at least some of these should come up when you Google your name. This is kind of like the end goal. I would say like for many of you, it's not the current state right now, but
Dinesh,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but I think if you want to showcase only your desktop, your presentation is visible, but not your screen. If you do.
That is a very good point. I think I have to take the screen. So thank you for that. So again, this is what you see when you Google like my name, for example. You can try out the same for yours as well. And ideally, like I said already, you would like to see something that you are building on, something that you want others to see when they Google your name. This gets a bit complicated when you have like a very famous name. So if your name is like Elon Musk or something like this, then it's going to be a little bit tricky. But generally, this is like one small thing that you can do just to check how things are. Okay, let me go back to the presentation. There we go. So what does it mean to build your brand? One thing that I really, really want to show you, let me just get this one off here. Okay, there we go, is that it takes time. So you may think, okay, it's amazing. I want to build this brand. I will come to a lot of amazing opportunities that I got from personal experience and stories also through it. But I want you to know, and I want to have the right expectation that it doesn't happen overnight. So building a brand is something that like everyone on this planet will tell you. It takes many, many, many years to build a brand or a reputation. And this is something that is constantly working towards. So on LinkedIn, you see, I started to create my account back in 2016. In 2018, I started connecting with people. And 2019 or 20 around, I started build content. So it only, quote unquote, took me like 1 year because I've been pushing videos on YouTube for like 3 years now. So think of years and not months when you are creating or when you try to build your brand, basically. So what are some things that you can do concretely? And here, now I want to get into concrete things that you can do to leverage all of that stuff. But I want to keep it simple and not too complicated because otherwise, I think many of you will be just, and myself as well, we will just get overwhelmed by the big, big, big mass of things there are. There are like so many social media channels and so many new upcoming things. Clubhouse and all of that stuff is just coming like all the time. So I want to give some concrete examples on what can be really helpful and what you can do as well. So first of all, what you want to do as a developer, because this is a developer focused webinar, like otherwise I could just talk in general. As a developer, hopefully you are working on solving problems. Maybe you are building prototypes. Maybe you are testing out other SDKs. Maybe you are testing out the Geo SDK, for example. You are building small things. You are making progress. And you want to show your things. Like you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be someone like 20 years of experience. You don't have to work at Microsoft or something like this. You can be a very regular person and you just share what you are learning right now. This is extremely valuable, and this is something that I've been doing for many, many, many years now. And now I got the expert status, right? Actually, after doing it for so many years. Like, I mean, 5 years ago, there was like not really much about AR VR. So I could not have been an expert myself, or nobody actually. So everyone has to start at something actually. Your content also doesn't need to be perfect. You can just start with a camera and a microphone, whatever you have, just get started, because in the very beginning, nobody will care. And this is actually a good thing. Now, it kind of sounds like negative, I would say, but it's actually really good because your first like 20, 30, 40 pieces of content, could be video, could be blogs, could be LinkedIn, could be Twitter, could be anything, doesn't matter. But your first like 30 pieces of content, they will be very bad. They will suck. They could be much better. But the good thing is you will learn over time. And then if you grow, if you become better, people will start to listen to you. And that's the point when you want to be very consistent. So one thing that is something that I get asked a lot is, okay, where should I put my content? Because this is a very, very important question. You cannot be everywhere unless you have like a huge budget and a marketing agency, but I would say most of you don't have it, myself neither. So where should you basically try to focus? And this really depends on your end goal. So let me give you one example. The kind of like the social media platforms that you use are depending heavily on what's your goal and what kind of person are you and what's the industry you're in. So maybe if you're like a fashion artist, you are extremely visible and visual as well, and you are very like short life, like it's like fast, fast, fast. So something, for example, these are not like final, it's just like my personal opinion. But if you have to pick three of them, then I would just say, okay, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are pretty good for fashion artists. Another example, if you would be like a travel influencer and you cannot use like all of these social medias, which is like way too much, I would say, okay, the videos are much longer because you want to create high quality videos of your travel experiences, but it's also very visual. So YouTube and Instagram make a lot of sense. But also you have to write about what you do. So for a travel influencer, you have a complete different set of ideal social media profiles. Now let's come to the interesting question. What do you think? I will give you like 5 seconds, so it's a little bit back and forth. But what do you think would be the three ideal social media channels? And whatever I will show, no, it's not like the very best there. It's just my ideas. But you can think about yourself. What do you think can be very valuable as a developer? So like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is what I personally think is the best set of combination if I can only choose three. If I can have more of them, then I would probably add Twitter, Discord, maybe Instagram. But again, like having one is already a lot of work. So I will give some personal recommendations later on in this presentation. But if you would have to pick three, then I would say these are very important. And actually, LinkedIn is by far the very, very best social platform for software developers, for anyone who's technical, for anyone who wants to make money, for anyone who is into business and startups and AR, VR technologies. I would personally say that LinkedIn trumps all the others. So if you only have like one choice, then I would highly, highly, highly recommend you to place your focus on this platform because the amount of exposure that you get for like nothing when you are at zero is insane. Like I only have, I just started like being serious on LinkedIn for 1 year, and like some of my posts get like 20,000 views in like a couple of days, basically. And this is not possible with most other platforms. So, what is my personal recommendation for you watching right now? I would say start with LinkedIn because this one is the least effort because YouTube is a lot of effort, trust me. A blog is also high effort, but and you don't get so much exposure like LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is if you want to get a job, if you want to find a partner, if you want to become a freelancer, or you want to find other co-founders or like anything. LinkedIn is by far the most superior platform for any of these things that any developer in the AR or VR space could think of. Now, if you are pretty good on LinkedIn already or you want to do even more, then I would say, okay, think about, are you a more like camera type of person, like I do the videos right now over here, or are you someone who is maybe camera shy and you really like writing? Then you can do a blog or like a vlog, so like a YouTube channel. I do both. So I do like my YouTube videos and then I take these videos, take the script, make a blog out of these or the vice versa. But I would highly recommend to start with LinkedIn and then go to any other platform that you would like to. Maybe you really like TikTok, then feel free to do so. But just from a developer business perspective, I would say that these ones are the very best. Okay, so now one thing is maybe you want to make money. And this is a very, very simple funnel, like a graphic that will show you how you can start to monetize these kind of things as well once you have built your audience. So again, I would I can spend like a whole day or like a whole workshop on monetization alone. But since the main topic is gonna be personal branding, I will scratch on this topic. And if you want more, then you have the feedback form. You can write anything you want to. I can cover these as well in a dedicated session. But this is kind of like the structure and the overview on how you can make money online, independent of any platform. So here we see, okay, at the very top, you have strangers. So random people who don't know you. They have to first know that you exist. You usually, like, that's one of the biggest mistake that I did a couple of years ago, and that many people do today as well. They go to strangers and ask them for something. They want to buy products. They want to sell products to strangers. They want to be hired by strangers. Like, people come to my LinkedIn profile and just ask me if I can hire them. I've never seen them. I've never heard of them. I don't even know they exist, and they like want to sell me something already. That's the worst mistake that you can do. You want to start at the top. So first of all, you want to create awareness. You want to know. You want to show that you exist. One example would be LinkedIn. I only show LinkedIn and blog right now and the website because I want to keep it very simple. But actually, here in this top funnel, you would have LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all these social medias, basically. A lot of them. They are the entrance point. They are the initial part where people start to know you. Then, if they like your content, they become visitors. So maybe like some of you guys, I mean, I know some of you already, so I know you are regularly engaging with my content on LinkedIn. So you are also like my closer tribe. You became visitors. We exchange back and forth. Maybe you are on my blog, which is already much closer than social media, because my blog is already one step between very close to become a lead. Then from your blog, maybe people really like what you are writing about. Then we get one step deeper. We go to the lead channel. So here you can start to sell to people. Maybe whatever you do, maybe you want to work for a company. Maybe you want to become a freelancer. Maybe you have a service you want to sell. Maybe you have a product you want to sell. But this is the point when you start making money, and not at the very beginning. You go over here once people have seen you a lot of time already, once you've engaged with a lot of people already, then you can start selling. And then, yeah, at the very end, they become your customers, and then you can re-engage with them. You can collect feedback from them to make a product even better. But the worst mistake that I did as well many years ago, and that most of the people are doing, they want to sell like whatever, a product, a service, anything. They want to sell something before they have an audience. It doesn't work that way, because if you do it, nobody will ever listen to you. So what I would tell you is start with this top funnel over here, with the top of the funnel, which is LinkedIn is the best way to do it because you gain so much awareness so fast, and also your blog. Okay, so I told you on where to go. So now, what are some cheats or some tricks that you can use to or shortcuts to grow much faster? These are like some things that I have realized over the many years of being in this space. And the single best trick, I would say, is follow and engage with other XR creators and companies, especially the ones you like. So maybe like right now you are on the Geo session here. So I would say you like Geo stuff. One thing that really helps is writing comments on your favorite creators and companies, because that is free exposure, free followers, and free engagement. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be very smart. You don't have to create content, really. You have to write a comment. And you see there's a star over here. You have to write intelligent comments. Let me give you an example. So here we see one of my recent posts I did a few weeks ago, or I think last week, which is a poll on LinkedIn. And this thing got like about 20,000 views in 1 week. And I only have right now, I only have like 2,500 followers. So it's not even much. So at the moment, at least. So imagine if I do it for 1 more year, 2 more years, it's going to grow a lot faster. But that's not really the point. The point is this guy over here, Gabriel, shout out to you. Maybe you're watching this from Tori. He wrote a very intelligent comment. Let me read it. I am a little surprised by the results because it was a poll. I would have thought that XR plus web would be the top pick. feels like an enabler for all of the other options. And now the best part, the really good part of this comment, can anybody that voted for XR plus AI share some tangible examples? So this is really a genius, because he now started to write a very good comment. You see, like, it's the most relevant, it's the very top. So all the views that I'm getting, like the 20,000, he's getting as well now. So about 20,000 people are seeing his profile, his comment. If the comment is good, they will think, oh yeah, cool, this is a smart guy, maybe, whatever. And they start to add him as well, just from writing a comment. He got like a third of my engagement, a third of my comments as well. So this is something that could be you. You could be doing the same thing over here, and that would mean free exposure for you as well. So the action step that I would tell here is really engage with whoever you like. Maybe you want to work for Microsoft, or maybe for Geo even. Then of course, like, the most intelligent thing you can do is engage with the content. If you one example would also be with my content as well. Like, I know many people of you here in the audience, hopefully, I hope you're here, who have been regularly texting with me on the social platform. And I'm super happy about that, really appreciate it, because it's a win-win. It also helps me to become more visible, basically, so it grows my business. And of course, like, since you helped me to grow, I will help you as well. So I gave like many free memberships on my platform. I gave like free consultation calls. I helped you out with some feedback things. So it's really like a giving on all sides. And this is like one of the secret tips that I can give that help you to grow faster. I'm also doing it much, much more now, to write to many, many, many other creators who are bigger than me. It just shows how much faster you can grow. Exactly. So what does it mean? I think we are slowly already coming to the end. I don't even know what I'm in the time frame, but I think it should be good. What I would highly recommend you, and we have been talking about personal branding already all the time, is to either, like, there are two groups, I would say, right now in the audience. There is one sort of people who don't even have a LinkedIn account. So I would highly recommend you to create one. It's free, so there's nothing to pay, and it's something that your future employer most likely will ask you anyways to show, or anyone else who we want to work with. And there are many people who do have a LinkedIn profile, but it's not up to date. Maybe there are some things that are not clean. Very important, have a nice profile pic, for example, because again, like mentioned in the beginning, people will judge you on these kind of stupid things. I know it's super superficial, but that's just the reality we are living in. So now I want to give 5 minutes for you guys to create a profile, or to check it out and check out your own profile and clean it up. I will make this interactive again. I will set a timer to 5 minutes, and then we can come back and finish this presentation, and I will come and answer all of your questions. Maybe you will have some questions when setting up this profile or cleaning up this profile already, or any other question. But I would say let's meet back in 5 minutes, and hopefully you will have some new accounts as well. One nice bonus that we have is that we will also help you to connect with all the audience right now who are in this call, so you can connect with each other and you can already boost yourself a little bit. But Priyanka from Geo will tell you after this call as well. So I would say let's have a 4.5 minute break now, and then see you back. Let me just put it over here.
Maybe any audience who already has this LinkedIn profile, maybe they can write a yes in the comment box. Maybe Dinesh will know exactly how to tell them, and how many people have the profiles, and then he can also guide you maybe the
Exactly.
other things. So you can drop in some yes if you have a profile in the chat box, and maybe the rest if you want to create an account and come back in next few minutes should also be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I will check out the comment box if I have any questions already, so I can think about some answers. I will just put it over here, and then we can really get this a little bit more engaging.
Yeah, it's a great idea to, drop your handles also. Each one of us will get to know each other, so we can follow each other as well. Great.
Exactly.
So we have it from Aman, we have it from Avi, we have it from Rihan, a lot
Oh
of other
yeah,
people.
amazing. Yeah, some of you guys are already posting your LinkedIn profiles. And just think about it. Like right now, this is the best group to be in. Like we are all focusing on AR, VR, personal branding at the moment. So this is the perfect target audience for all of us. We are all in the same boat right now. I will post my LinkedIn profile as well, so you can check it out if you don't have it already.
We'll do it for you, Dinesh. We have it. They just
Nice. That's a good service.
yeah. Quite a lot of people are responding. So, guys, we have shared Dinesh's handle. Tejas has posted it. In case you haven't followed Dinesh, you can use that handle.
Yeah. I post 3 times a week on LinkedIn every single week on anything AR VR related and how to progress in this career. So basically this session right now is what I do for a living now. So super happy to connect with you guys. Oh, 1 minute left. By the way, one quick tip, I would not add everyone at once, like super fast, because LinkedIn can see this as spam if we had like 20 people at the same time. So I would just spread it over slowly, not like add 20 people immediately. I think LinkedIn doesn't like it too much. So just a quick disclaimer over here. Okay, there are 3 good questions already.
Yes, and quite a lot of people have already started to populate their handles. So it's quite nice.
Cool. Yeah, we have about 10 seconds left now. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, I hope everyone is back. Otherwise, you can just check the replay. So create and clean up your LinkedIn profile. Of course, I would also recommend to do it after the call. Like you don't clean up your complete LinkedIn profile in like 2 minutes. That would be a bit fast. But again, if you have any questions, then you can write them down right now and I will try to answer them. What is some structure that you can do now after you are done? So I would really start simple. On LinkedIn, I would recommend you to create 1 post per week. And ideally, it is an original post. So it does mean don't steal someone else's content and put it on your profile. Like many people do this. It works, like at least credit them, but ideally you really create something from your own. Like it doesn't have to be something amazing. It should be something small all the time. Something you're working on, some idea that you had, something you're excited about or something like this. And even faster, even easier to do is write a comment 3 times a week, at least. These are like the minimum expectations you should have when you want to focus on your personal brand. So 1 post a week regularly. The consistency is the really important part. And the comment, I don't think it's super hard to write something to other people's content. So that's absolutely doable. All right, let's have a quick summary now. Basically, yeah, personal branding today, it's opportunities, it's huge opportunities. I would say in like 3 to 5, 6 years, it's gonna be mandatory. Like everybody will have a online version of themselves. I mean, you guys are in the AR VR field. You all know about the metaverse, that our lives will move into the digital space, that AR is gonna be very big, and our digital representation is gonna be a huge, huge, huge part. So you can do it today and you can boost already, or you will have to do it later, but then you are too late already to get take the benefits. I would recommend to focus on LinkedIn and one other channel of your choice. Doesn't really matter which one, depending on your own personal preferences. And the third and maybe most important thing is you really want to engage with other people. Like, I mean, not only me and Gio, of course, that would be amazing, but of course, like with everyone else, everyone in this chat right now, you guys are exactly the ones who need each other. Like, everyone can introduce someone to someone else, or you can become partners together. So engage with the community a lot, not only the big companies and the other influencers, whoever. One of the biggest and best things that I did in 2016 or 15, I don't even know, is I really was very, very deep in the AR VR community in Berlin. So it was a local community, and I was very engaged in that community, which just helped me to meet so many people. So what do you think? Like I get all of these headsets here sponsored, like this one over here and something over here. I got the HoloLens even before Microsoft. So these things just come from connecting and networking and getting to know people from the industry. And they are the ones who will also push your brand very much further. I think this is it. Yeah, now we can open it up for some questions.
So here there are some questions that are written, so I can read out to you. Otherwise, audience, I would like to say, in case you have any specific question, and if you would want to, speak up, you could raise your hands while we are trying to answer these questions, which are written and mentioned here. But please raise your hand in case you want to directly speak to Dinesh. So maybe I'll go ahead with the first question here, which is from Rehan. It says, what are your views about creating a VR CV for potential VR clients to view?
Okay, that's a cool use case. Let me think about what are your views about creating a VR CV for potential VR clients to view. I think that is pretty cool. One thing that is very important, it should not be a VR application where you have like one document in front of us, just like a canvas, and then you have a CV. That would be very bad. I mean, that would just show that you don't know how to build VR apps. So, I mean, having it would be really good, but I would say you have to think about how do you do it. Maybe like just one random idea, like you spawn in a room and then you have like these pillars, and then you can pick something up, and that is showing a video of something that you've built, and then you can put it back. Like you have to make an actual VR app and not a build where you have your 2D canvas with your CV in VR. So that doesn't count. But otherwise, it's a good idea if the implementation is good. I would really like it. I would be impressed by it if the ideas are smart.
Great. Rian, hope this answers your question. So I'll move to the second question. Um, uh, okay, it says, for portfolio part, which one is better, a website for all the projects or a GitHub account?
Okay, that is also a very good question. Let me think about it. You should absolutely have a GitHub which is cleaned up. So you have like a structure, you have a README file, you have all the comments. So having a GitHub is essential. It's a must for every single developer. And the GitHub should be clean. So your project should be clean. You should have a README file. You should explain the project. This is an absolute essential. And then having a website would be a bonus, I would say. Having a website is pretty nice, and you can show off the final results, the videos and stuff like this. But a GitHub is or GitLab is absolutely necessary.
Then there's one more question which says, by Aman, like, what type of content should someone post on LinkedIn when you are already in a job? So if you're working, what kind of post you should be creating on LinkedIn?
Yeah, that is a good question. I think it does not matter too much if you already have a job or if you don't have a job, because you should always post something that, first of all, it should be interesting or helpful or inspiring to the community. You're always writing for your community, for the XR people. So you can post something that you're working on the job. Like, I mean, if it's not under NDA, I don't want to get in trouble here. So check with your employer, of course, first. But generally, you can showcase what you're working on, what you're learning, and what you are thinking. And this is independent if you're working in a job or not. But I think your employer will be very happy if you do it. So I would double check with them as well, of course. But otherwise, again, like what you're working on, what you're thinking, and what you're learning.
Mhm. Then there's one more question from Shikhar, which says if you can provide any guidance on how to get started with the crowdfunding like Kickstarter.
I don't have any experience with Kickstarter or crowdfunding at all. I can just give you a little bit of tips from my gut feel. The first thing is something that I mentioned already is build an audience first. Like this goes for everything, whatever you do. If you have an audience already, like if I would now go to Kickstarter, I would have a potential of 15,000 followers, which is not like big amount, but still, I would have a potential of 15,000 followers who like my stuff already. So that's already helpful. So whatever you do, even if it's Kickstarter, have focus on building an audience first. If you don't have an audience, it's extremely hard to do anything online. That's the first tip. The second tip I would say specifically for Kickstarter is you should have a very, very good teaser video, like a preview teaser, this kind of thing, because this is the only thing that people are going to see. How does your preview or how does your product look like? But again, like by far, like 90%, just focus on building an audience first and then do the other things.
Mhm. Shikhar, hope it answers your question. I'll take next question, which is from Albert, which says, "What are some good sample mixed reality apps to develop and use in our portfolio for potential employers?"
Let me think about it. Phew, there could be a lot actually. It's hard to give a concrete, perfect idea, but one thing that I would say is, I mean, like at least from my perspective, because I'm also employing people, is some mixed reality application that utilizes the features of the headset, which means you are using like image recognition, you are using the spatial understanding, you are somehow making an app that is actually capable of all of these things. If your device has voice recognition, I would put all of these features in because that shows the employer or whoever you're working with that you know how to use these things. That's one thing. So use the capabilities of your target hardware. If I would build something with the Quest 2, for example, and I want to impress someone, I would probably use the live feed capture, for example, stuff like this. The second thing, it should be like an actual helpful use case, which is like you need some business logic for that. So it should solve a problem somehow. Maybe it's an app where I can paint my green wall blue. That would be a helpful kind of thing. If it's something that doesn't help anyone, then people cannot translate your knowledge about the field. So try to think about a problem that you have and how we can solve it with MR. That's a quick answer to a very, very long topic.
All right. There's one more question from Nikunj, that is for VR development. Which one is a better engine, Unity or Unreal?
Oh, that's like the holy question. That's like the big question. I think both are equally fine, to be honest. Like both of their strengths and weaknesses. I personally use Unity because I really like C Sharp. The community is much bigger. Like there are much more people on Unity and much more employers, much more developers, much more creators. I would say. Unreal has extremely good graphical outcome. So graphical fidelity is really good with Unreal. Um, I think at the end, I would say it's just try out both and see what you like more. But you can get equal good experiences with Unreal and Unity. So at the end, it mostly comes down as a developer: do you like C++ or do you like C Sharp?
All right. There are a few questions which came to us privately. It's one question which is like, how to build up a portfolio to attract more clients as a value proposition.
Can you repeat the question?
1 minute. It says how to build up a portfolio to attract more clients as a value proposition.
Uh-huh. Um, build a portfolio. I mean, you build apps basically. Depends.
Yes.
If you don't have any experience, then you will have to learn them online. And I can highly recommend Immersive Insiders. I've heard they have some very good courses, so you can check them out. The courses are really good, and you actually build something. But otherwise, yeah, you can go to YouTube or wherever you want to learn. You build stuff and then you put it. I would always be very interested in seeing your projects in GitHub. Why am I saying this so often? Because it shows that you know how to work with version control. Like I would never ever hire a developer who does not know how to use version control. Never ever. And I think like no company who is serious would hire any developer except he's like a trainee or something like this or like an internship. Then it doesn't matter. But like for an actual job, it's required to know version control. And by showing your GitHub profile, you already show that you know this. But yeah, build apps, learn how to do it by Immersive Insiders platform or YouTube, and then put them on your GitHub.
Mm-hmm. There's one more question from Tarun. It's like how to get started with XR development. What are the good resources we can have?
Oh, let me write something down. I've heard this one is pretty good. Um, or otherwise, you can just go and check YouTube. Yeah, I guess it's the fastest answer to this.
All right. Now, which is a better AR framework? Is better AR Foundation or Vuforia? Vuforia.
I mean, it's always hard to say which is like better. I personally use AR Foundation because it's free and Vuforia is quite expensive. I don't know the pricing right now, but a couple years ago it was quite expensive, and yeah, that's why I just didn't use it really. I really like Unity. AR Foundation is built by Unity, so my personal answer is gonna be AR Foundation, but it's really depending on your use case, to be honest. Like Euphoria has more things that AR offers, to be honest, but you will have to pay for that. So kind of depends on your budget.
All right. There's one question. What's your take on scaling up for the different platforms in XR?
On scaling up different platforms on XR.
When
So
you're
what?
when you're trying to go and reach out to different platforms, like what is your openness towards what one should look for, exploring new platforms that are emerging? So there are some platforms like Unreal, Oculus, and then probably something which is coming from GeoClass. What's your take on creating applications and getting on
Ah,
to that applications, such platforms?
okay, yeah, that's a good question. I would say it depends on two factors, maybe. Yeah, two factors which are important right now. The first is personal preference, like what do you like more? Are you more interested in VR or are you more interested in AR? So this is very important. Like it should be coming from your own insight, what you think is better or what you like more. And the other thing is also accessibility and budget. If you want to develop for the HoloLens, which is amazing, it's pretty good, but you will have to spend 3,500 euros at least on this device. So I don't know if you can get it basically. It's also very hard to get, but then a cheaper variant would be the Geo glasses, for example. If you can get them, if you have access to them, then I would start with them as well, for example. So whatever you have access to right now, at least, like everyone has a phone, but maybe you don't want to do it. Um, I would start like what can you get, what is accessible to you, and what is your interest. If you combine these things, then it's much easier to narrow down what you want to do. Like I would, for example, would like to do work with the Vario XR3 headset, which is pretty good, but it's costs like 6,500 euros. So I'm not gonna buy it right now. Maybe they will sponsor me somehow at some point. But also right now, I'm very interested in working with the Pico glasses with this VR headset because I'm thinking of using it for my business. And this is much cheaper. So of course I'm gonna go with this one because it's a tenth of the price. So that would be the answer.
Mhm. This one question from Aman, which is how can someone combine computer vision with AR? Is there any resources where someone can learn that?
I don't know it out of my gut right now, but yeah, I mean, OpenCV, I think Unity does also support OpenCV. So that is the first thing that I would look at. AR Foundation with OpenCV, some mix and match over there. But I think you can literally put this question on Google and then you get a lot of answers. But I think Unity plus OpenCV should be working.
All right. There's one question from Avi, which says, did you find any good solution for clots try-ons? AR Foundation couldn't. I did something with Kinect back in 2016, but that's not very scalable.
Yeah, Kinect is a very good alternative, I would say, because it's a very good device. Unfortunately, it's very bad marketed, so they lack the marketing, which is why they went down actually. Um, mm, mm, mm. I think that's hard to say. Maybe like other specific tools for that, like Euphoria or something like this, are working on that, but they are quite expensive. And also, I think Air Foundation, it depends really on when you did it. If you are working with the LiDAR sensor on the iPhone and combine it with Air Foundation, I think it should be possible already because the LiDAR sensor is really good and accurate. So there it should be working. But I haven't tried it out recently, so I cannot give a absolute answer on that.
All right. There's one more question, and I think that should be all. It's like, what is the biggest challenge that you faced while monetizing?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a very good question, and I have an even better answer to that. The biggest problem and the biggest challenge that I'm still having is building an audience and building a personal brand. So I think that wraps it up really well. Yeah, but honestly, like I do have 4 courses online. I have built 2, 3 others in 2016, and nobody listened to them because I didn't have a freaking audience. So now I do slowly build up with people on my Immersive Insiders platform, and people love the courses. Like anyone who does them really likes them, most of them, but it just the number of people who are aware of this platform is too slow. So monetization is only at least like in the online world, if you are here and if you don't have like a big investor or something like this, like if you want to make money on the online kind of thing, which is very scalable and gives you a lot of freedom, the part of building an audience is the most important part, I can say, like straight down. So exactly the session that we had right now, being on LinkedIn, being on all these platforms, showing your authority, not only sharing what you learn, but also show that you know how to do it. Maybe like this cloth try on, you've kind of figured out how to build it, or the open CV plus AR solution. You are thinking on solving this problem, then you did it. That already gives you a big authority. You push it online, people know that you are intelligent, and then you can build an audience, and then you can monetize it. So that's my biggest challenge.
All right. Kalpesh says, okay. So there's one question from Dhruv. He himself is an AR developer and he wants to learn ML, AI, and DL stuff. He's asking, what should I learn to make AR better and any resources for this?
I also want to learn what should I learn to make AR better. I don't. What exactly do you mean to learn to make AR better? Like to make better AR applications, or I guess so. I would assume that's let's see the question for that. If that's the question, like make how to make good AI applications. The first thing is I would check out successful applications, like other people, like other companies who do very good stuff. I would test it out on people. Like this is really like the UX part, which is extremely important. Like we are developers. We know how to get the technical things done. We know how to learn all of the SDKs, how to implement them. We know how to build the pipeline, all of that stuff. But as soon as we build the thing and we want to make it good, we have to think a lot about usability, UI, UX kind of things, which is something that developers don't like to do too much. But this is something that is extremely important. And I would Google some resources. We are actually working on these as well at Immersive Insiders. How to make a good user experience for augmented and virtual reality. I think this is the step that really makes your app much better if you have a proper UI UX.
All right. And I think there's one question from Kalpesh. A few people have already helped him answer this, but just throwing it at you. Have any solution for jewelry sales push up with the help of AR VR?
Jewelry sales push up. Okay. It goes similar to the try on, I guess. There, yeah, one time this mirror thing that Avi already mentioned. I haven't tried it out, but I heard something about it. Um, if you have an iPhone, again, this is pretty good for. Well, Android also supports this. I think they also have like the depth sensor, so you can use AR Foundation for that. I don't know how accurate it is, but AR Foundation should be capable of at least rendering these kind of things on the try-on kind of stuff. But otherwise, I would also just check out what the community is already providing here.
All right. So I'll request if audience has any more questions, you can feel free to write it, or maybe you can leave it in the chats and we can get the answers with Dinesh right now. Maybe send it to him over an email and he can answer it probably online or through email. We can get you the answers. But otherwise, I think we have kind of exhausted all the questions. We've answered all of that. So as a closing thing, I would say so just in time. I think there's one question for you, which is would you have personal brand with your name or a specific company name? So right on time, Ashray. Uh,
Ah,
would you like to take this question, Dinesh?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. I would say it also has the name personal brand. Have it personal to your name actually is extremely valuable because you are then not bound um, by something that you have to build up as well. Like I also have my LinkedIn profile. We have an Immersive Insiders page, but my own Dinesh Punni page is much stronger on this side at the moment because people want to connect with other people, and this is a big thing, I would say. Um, so you should also try to push the company, but as a personal brand and what you're personally learning, I would also push the personal aspect of it. So having your own name is more helpful, which is why my YouTube channel, for example, is also called just Dinesh Puni.
So hope that answers your question, Ashray. Um, so I would like to thank Dinesh, thank you everyone for the seminar, and I'm sure there was a lot of valuable information which Dinesh has given in creating and understanding the building blocks of how to start and get started with personal branding. I would just like to highlight one thing, like Dinesh has covered some bit of it in his podcast that he did it with us
Yeah.
last month, which is Humans of XR. Tejas will leave a link of that in the comment section, so you can also go through that. A lot of interesting insights Dinesh has shared over there. Basically, it's a field which is continuously evolving. So there's nothing new, there's nothing old. Everyone is learning, everyone is building new things. So the best part is, which Dinesh itself told in his last podcast, that there's nothing that the rules have been made, so everyone, all the big companies are still trying on, so there's no rule book set, so you can already try. And it's a great opportunity for developers also to showcase, because you guys are excellent in the technical aspect of creating fabulous applications. But at times it's very important to showcase the skills that you have and that you have
Yeah.
made. So it's an old saying, what gets shown is gets sold. So it's
Mm-hmm.
very important that you showcase and build up your brand. And I hope this session could bring some kind of an insight and understanding to you about, how you can slowly and gradually start building over it. And we would like to, continue this kind of association and engagement with Dinesh, as well as with the entire developer fraternity, and continue developer connect session and conduct many more interesting and insightful session. So if you have any other further questions, please feel free to write down it to priyanka@tesseract.com. There will be a slide which is going to show the details, and you can follow our social channels. And once you leave today's webinar, you will be receiving a survey form. Thank you, mail definitely, and a survey form where we would like to understand your feedback and understand uh, what we can do additionally to make such sessions more interesting and enticing for you, so we deliver value for the time that you give it to us. I thank all of you for being a fabulous audience, being interactive, and responding to our engagements and things that we have been doing today. uh, we will also be sharing a follow-up, I would say a recording of this session. So we mostly going to be sharing this with you early next week. You will find it then on your inbox, and it will also be available on YouTube. But in case there are any questions, any suggestions, you can always feel free to reach out to us. Dinesh, any last words from you in case you have any feedback? How has been your experience?
Yeah, pretty good so far. um, Last words. Yeah, I would say yeah, next from the like building amazing things and learning how to create and how to program all of that stuff, there's a big leverage that you can take in also having some thoughts on the personal brand side. So that would be the final take. And I would be super happy to see your feedback on this if you actually liked what I was saying. I don't know. It's really hard to rate myself, so I'm depending on you guys what you liked, and that would be super cool to see some feedback from you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dinesh, for your time. And I once again like to thank audience on behalf of JioTesseract. This is our small initiative that we are trying to, build over it. And with your support, we will try and get more informative information to you. So we build a more powerful community and empower each other together. So with this note,
Sounds
I would
great.
like to conclude the session, and thank you so much, and stay tuned for the next event, which we are going to plan very soon. Thank you so much, everyone.
Awesome. Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.